Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Paladins Summer Open Premier Qualifying Path Week 2.
Nice.
You guys know what we're doing. We're qualifying people for Spain, and this is the path to do it. This is the Open Qualifiers, meaning that anybody can join. It's pretty exciting stuff, Nick. We're in the semifinals, second part of the bracket. Who are we playing?
WASD, 50 Shades of SNEK.
Nick. Free SNEK?
Free SNEK. 50 Shades of them, in fact.
Wow.
Formerly known as, at what point do we stop saying it? Formerly known as, I guess now.
Now.
This is the weekend. They are no longer formerly known as Burrito because there is Burrito. Now, they did get knocked out by D69, 50 Shades of SNEK. You know them. Bird, Laizy, Thiel. SunCommander now is the sub, or the now main roster, as Lemonade has taken his exit from competitive Paladins. And of course, the MVP from HRX himself, bonkar.
Bonkar, man.
WASD, spunkki. Mutyustiina, another big name to join them. Very, very adept player. Played extremely well at the Masters Landing. That substitute role. Earned himself, the main spot on the roster. That's kind of what happens.
That is. When you perform well, it seems like in Paladins on a big stage, you get the opportunity to play with the big boys.
We talked about that a little bit. Frog Isle going to be the first map in this series. But it's something I don't really think about as like, this guy has these team members. They have to. What is their viability? Can they make it to these lands? Is that something? Are they in a spot in their life to be able to commit and make it to that? That's something I didn't really think about.
Oh yeah.
Coming into the Paladins Esports. But if you can't make it to the lands, you don't really deserve a spot on the main roster.
And it's time also to really put your face out there in the world. I mean, you talk about the big stage and how so many times you see in film, in television, in sports, everyone's trying to make it to the big stage. That's because that's where people see you. That's where the big opportunities come from. And so these guys have definitely taken advantage of that. And now we're playing on some top tier teams going against SNEK, who take Makoa as the first pick.
Such a big key to everyone's strategy right now, but SNEK probably more so than everyone. I mean, Thiel, he is associated with this character. He is one with Makoa. Barrack Bomb King going to be the selection. So early Barrack prioritization, probably the earliest we've seen since the changes to the way the barricade works. Not going on cooldown until destroyed or expired has made Barrack a little bit lower of a priority, but WASD still valuing that Tinkerer.
Yeah, absolutely. As a singular front line, if you're going to go with one, Barrack is a very good secondary choice after Makoa, and may even become more of a stable choice after the Makoa, nerfs that will be coming in the next patch.
Sure.
It's interesting to see Nara got a lot of interesting changes as well, so maybe she'll step up there. But right now, Shaolin getting picked up, a staple as always for the damage roll. Maldamba again with the healing. SNEK now have the chance to do something a little weird and throw WASD off.
So probably no more frontliners. Maybe a Sarah's here, but with two frontliners.
They got a healer
here if he wants that. Bird has been definitely the most played Saris thus far since she has been out, but it will be the Ying this time around. Drogos and Androxus on the same team. It's a good 1-2 punch as well. WASD don't have a great answer to try take out this Drogos from the sky, but they do leave their last pick open for just that.
And it's very map dependent, right? You mentioned the Saris. Victor comes in with a ton of damage to round things out. Yang, she does a lot of healing. But she also usually contributes a little bit more damage than Saris does. The way Bird plays Saris and the way a lot of people play Saris is it's all healing, no damage. You'll see her with some of the lower damage numbers I've ever seen for supports to have. And so maybe that's why he's saying it's a little bit better. And he takes the Focusing Lens damage legendary as well to see if he can hit a little harder and contribute to those team fights for his squad. SNEK there. Bonker running Flux Generator on his Ruckus. Combustible Fire Spit legendary for Laizy's Drogos. Pluck Makoa for Thiel, and Darkstalker for SunCommander's Androxus.
Unbelievable. We'll be selecting Ripen Gourd alongside a Kronos Accelerant for Creative's Bomb King Recurve, for Mutyustiina's Shaolin, as well as a Wreck or Architectonics for Spunkki's Barrack. A Kronos as well for him, and a Gunnery for Kamyker's Victor. Taking two Cauterizes, a Wrecker, two Chronoses as well to the field. The boys of 50 Shades of SNEK have two Cauterizes. One notable item there was actually the morale boost on Ying. We've been seeing Bird take that a lot lately.
SunCommander here, not a rookie in the scene, a veteran in Paladins, but maybe a rookie to really having this starting lineup role again for 50 Shades of SNEK. And oh man, he will put his mark on the battlefield right away. Bonker will help to finish off the kill that he helped to start. The flick shots coming through on Androxus, and now Victor focusing Bonker, but Bonker takes it, puts on the emitter, and finishes off too. Him and SunCommander are going wild in this back line.
The longer and longer Bonker plays this tank role, the more adept he gets, and there's a nice knock off the map. Spunkki's actually, he's not off just yet, but Laizy did in fact knock him off the map with the combustible fire spit knockback. He found himself in a little pocket. There is actually a little spot near SunCommander actually right now where you can stay alive. Can't get back onto the map unless you can fly. But spunkki did have to jump off there. Clean fight from 50 Shades of SNEK. And what I was saying about bonkar is the more he's forced into this off-tank role on this ruckus, the more he's just starting to play it like a damage, like a flank. He's taking area assault. He's getting hyper-aggressive. He's diving into the back line because he just knows how to play that style of character.
Absolutely, and he becomes more adept at it, and they add another level, another layer of versatility for this widely successful damage champion player to be able to add into his repertoire of Paladins champions he can bring out at any moment in time. That's the fire spit. That's the benefit of that. Thiel will go down, though, thanks to the poppy bomb, excuse me, that Creatives put down there.
That's cute.
But I was saying that the fire spit right here, where people like to defend Nick, going to be very dangerous with Laizy's fire spits coming through in the combustible.
Oh, Creatives narrowly makes it out there with 6 HP. Mutyustiina on the Shaolin, so low in the backline as well. Everyone's so low, but these kills just aren't being confirmed by 50 Shades of SNEK. There's the first one. Kamyker will take a spell double kill now for bonkar, confirming both of those on the mech now. Getting pretty aggressive. No more charges of advance, so he is in this fight to win it. One will come up. He is on the front line trying to take down this bear, completely zoned out. Communicating that fire spit around the wall. Wasn't good enough. Bird will clean it up.
You know, what you're seeing here, Nick, is as this payload looks really, really successful as and almost in completion it is. What you're seeing is actually Bird's healing. That's why, you know, in most of these situations, I'm like, man, I do that with Ruckus all the time. I would have died 10 years ago. But the fact that those two illusions are so properly placed behind the rock, out of vision of the enemies, keeping him alive, that's why he's able to do that beyond the 12th streak he is right now.
One thing you can do with Thing, one thing you have to do with Ying, especially in that type of situation that you just framed, is placing them in line of sight of bonkar, out of line of sight of your teammate, as well as out of line of sight as your other teammates that don't need the healing as much, because those are just AI clones. They just heal what's closest to them, what needs healing. They don't really think as deep as Bird is, so it's on him to be able to position them to heal the target that he knows needs the healing the most.
Those clones aren't teaching a philosophy class anytime soon. No deep thinking from them, so you got to make sure you play the system and play it in your favor. The ultimate is ready, and she's going to use it just to start things off and give that extra about 300 to 400 healing to all of her teammates anywhere they are, and open up some options to Dimensional Link, but she doesn't need it. She goes straight to the point, and that's a great hook by Makoa. It's going to put Barrick under some pressure. Focusing Lens does hit, and spunkki will fall thanks to Laizy's pressure.
One member hit by that Dread Serpent as well in the back line. Two already found for Laizy. Still sitting on the Dragon Punch, just as trying to quell any aggression as they come back. Mutyustiina here in a bad spot, just going to jump off the map. Knows he has nowhere to go, nowhere to run or hide. He didn't want to give the kill over to Laizy, so he just jumped off the map. 75% already for 50 Shades of SNEK, and they're looking in a good spot to be able to take this second payload.
Oh, and this pluck damage is doing so much work to put spunkki low, and not to get the kill, but to allow Perdo and Laizy to come through with the combustibles, with the shots to finish him off easier, because of course he is a tank. He's got a little bit of more health pool, a little more defensive options, so they just need a little bit of help there, and Thiel's doing everything that his team needs for him.
Mutyustiina does answer back onto Laizy. Big reversal comes out, absorbed primarily by the barricade. Every ultimate available except Illusory Rift or 50 Shades of SNEK, who are on the back foot right now. They're giving the call to back up. They did lose a member, it looks like. They're looking for some way to punch through this defense here from WASD Esports. Probably waiting off the back, just a hook from Thiel's Makoa. bonkar a little bit too aggressive. Will fall as well.
Very patient approach by 50 Shades of SNEK, looking for a pick, want to find one, want to find some big opening, and then move forward with those flankers. SunCommander is just ready to attack anyone, and Bird has not died in what feels like forever. He is constantly in the back line, keeping everyone healthy and keeping this push alive. So if I am WASD Nick, I got to finish him off, and there it is. Kamyker takes the words right out of my mouth.
2 more kills coming through here. bonkar's going to find spunkki. A lot of damage poured into this flanker over here on the side. Barrage incoming, landing onto both tanks from 50 Shades of SNEK, but acutely faced fire spit is going to knock Kamyker off the map. Creatives goes down as well. Mutyustiina will be taken down by SunCommander, saving Laizy's life. So a lot of momentum here as a lot of members low, down, but not out. 50 Shades of SNEK keep this payload rolling.
The repartee between WASD Esports and 50 Shades of SNEK. The barrage into the fire spit, into the healer staying alive, into the healer falling down. Both of these teams are definitely having a bit at each other right now, but who's going to get the better end of this? So far, it's been all 50 Shades. Can WASD hold right now when they need to?
Accursed Arm comes out, finds one, damage onto a second, stunned out mid-air actually by a nice snake toss from Unbelievable. Creatives drives that kill home, but gets taken down by Bird. Kill for kill here as Mutyustiina kinds Bird, goes down to Thiel, then spunkki finds bonkar. Everyone's dying slowly here. Thiel, the only member left alive from 50 Shades of SNEK, now will fall, but still 20 seconds left to stabilize.
That dome shield was everything. spunkki, one of the more veteran players in the scene, puts the dome shield probably unaware that a fire spit from a combustible Drogos was coming for him. Would have knocked him off the point. Thiel was right there. That payload would have moved in and been completely converted. Game over if it doesn't come out right then.
3 seconds there. Fire spit over the top from Laizy as we head into overtime. Ancient Rage just pops. A lot of ultimates coming out. Dread Serpent still sitting on the Dragon Punch. Will it land?
That could be it. 2 fire spits to seal the deal. Laizy runs around. Double kill for the Dragon, and he will rule the skies, but he'll also rule Fog Isle alongside his other teammates. 50 Shades of SNEK take the victory over WASD Esports in stunning fashion.
4-0, but still just bloody team fights there. Kills trading out either way, and so much momentum, you know. Whatever way it was going, it was very heavy-handed in the way those team fights were going. But 50 Shades of SNEK, they can really get a push started there with some of those ultimates, like the Ancient Rage, like the Dragon Punch. Is very good to just try and punch it through, and that's all they needed. They were so good at keeping their momentum high off the capture, getting it so close to conversion. All they needed was those small little wins, and this is a quick, clean win on Frog Isle.
And that's what they do best. 50 Shades of SNEK have always done this on this map. And, you know, I mentioned the repartee, the back and forth between both these teams. They had moments, WSD, that they shown that they had a lot of success, and they planned out some great ultimates, some great stalls, but it just was never enough to turn the tide in their favor. And maybe that's just a draft issue.
Absolutely here. That's going to be game number 1. It's a strong map to try and take 50 Shades of SNEK on. It's where they want HRX. It's where they take D69 when they're feeling, you know, backs against the wall. It's where they like to play. But it's interesting that that's actually where WSD did beat them in the series last week, and we will be moving along to Jaguar Falls, more tight-knit. Still in that same kind of spectrum there as Frog Isle with the Temple theme going.
Absolutely, and this is where you want to make sure that you have a team composition that not only can play the center well, but can deal with enough damage on the outskirts and really progress well enough to counter a little bit of the way the enemy team wants to play. A lot of times, if you only pick a central team composition and you can't fight on the outskirts at all, you don't have anyone to really flank or aggress, it's tough to get to those backline targets.
This is what's happening, right? Jaguar Falls is, you know, it's close-knit. There's a lot of frontliners. This is what it sort of stagnates. Teams like, you know, think they've got it figured out, but the ones that stay ahead, the ones that are always winning these tournaments, D69s, 50 Shades of SNEK, that's when everything starts to stagnate, they innovate. They figure out how to beat what has become standard on these maps. So you never want to count. You never want to go into a draft thinking you know what your opponent is going to do. You're going to count yourself out if you do that.
Absolutely. WSD now taking Makoa as the first pick, and I gotta say this is a good move no matter what. Taking that away from Thiel, you can't go wrong.
Yeah,
you really can't.
We don't really discuss. We don't much to discuss. First pick Makoa. It is what it is. The Dredge Anchor is just so valuable right now. It's going to continue to kind of be that first pick until changes come through for the hook. They are coming through in the next patch, but until then, it's all about what comes after Makoa. Ruckus Bomb King will be the selection this time around.
A lot of Ruckus favored in Europe, like you mentioned earlier on. Seems to be a continuous trend happening. And, you know, Ruckus, he provides a lot. He provides that flex tool, right? Because if you really get weird, you can stay with Ruckus as a tank and your only tank if they pick something odd. Or you can flex later on. You already know you don't have Makoa, and the other tanks fall a lot in the priority of when you pick them.
Barrack being selected. So prioritized heavily here by WASD. I'd say more so than any other team in Europe right now. Ruckus, not really favored so much in North America. Neither is Barrack, but all the frontliners here on Jaguar Falls are coming out to play. Ruckus Fernando for 50 Shades of SNEK. Makoa Barrack for WASD Sports.
There's a lot happening here for both of these teams. SNEK have the opportunity to counter pick, and you would expect they could go into a flank. They could go into another damage here. But Drogo's taken away. WASD have a pretty solid lineup that can do a lot of things. The Barrack throws me a bit because I think it's going to be hit or miss. But SNEK now have an opportunity to go against this.
Absolutely. So I completely agree with you. Everything outside of the Barrack is comfort, is home for that particular character, that particular player on WASD. You're looking at Mutyustiina's and Broxus. I mean, that is the namesake for this guy. Made a name for himself at the Masters land. Lex for 50 Shades of SNEK. Gonna be interesting. SunCommander probably gonna be playing that one. But it just feels like these guys are starting to get, it's weird where you look through a whole draft and you say everyone kind of feels like they got what they want. It's gonna be cool to see just who plays, you know, what they got better. Unbelievable here on the Ying. With Focusing Lens, Creatives will be on the Enteroxys. Strangely enough there with the Godslayer legendary. Drogos will be played by Mutyustiina. Spunkki down there on Daddy Barrack with the Architectonics, and rounding things out will be Kamyker on Makoa, yet to select his legendary.
Thiel gonna run Aegis on his Fernando Bird, running Ripen Gourd, gets the slow there for Maldamba. bonkar, it's gonna run Aerial Assault. We're gonna see Accelerate for Bomb King, and we'll also see Death Hastens.
I think Godslayer is the most common title. Would you say?
I mean, we did see Darkstalker by Perdo earlier on, but
I'm saying
say,
title.
Oh, title,
Creatives,
yes.
He's got it, Mutyustiina's got it, bonkar's got it. I know Bird's got it. I think Thiel's got it as well.
It is. Definitely in this game.
Everybody loves Andrew.
I mean, the Godslayer's not
He's
a
the
bad
token
one
edgelord
to have, and he's a great god to master too. He's such a high-level champion. You'll see here, Creative's one of the better players with it as well. We mentioned Mutyustiina, a teammate of his, but he's doing a lot of work on this Drogos as well, and they need that area pressure to contend with Laizy's Bomb King here. But it's all 50 Shades of SNEK on the point, 36% counting.
First blood finally going to fall here. SunCommander claims the life of Kamyker. Fire Spit comes through, beautifully placed, hits 2. Thrust is available. Salvo primed and ready, rips across the battlefield, taking down Laizy's HP to a mere 1,100 of 2,600 here. So the Bomb King a little bit caught out away from his healer right now. Bird standing on the point here. Laizy not calling for the health just yet. Nobody's really pressuring him out. Nobody's trying to confirm this kill.
It's the danger zone right now, man. Everybody knows, you know, they got eyes on the prize, the objective point, so close, so many angles to shoot at it and then get under cover from Bomb King's perspective and Drogo's perspective. Everyone's a little bit stepping on their toes.
Nice peel.
And to where they go for it. Thiel doing a great job of keeping Laizy alive. Mutyustiina still not died yet. But this is a little bit of a, this is really an even match right now.
This will happen with double frontliner as well. It's not so much frag potential out on the battlefield. Teamfight's probably going to play out a little bit slower. Kamyker does find Laizy though. They're on the point. WASD 66%, tying it up now, surpassing 50 Shades of SNEK in terms of the capture point progress. Nice move around there. Was able to wiggle through the salvo, missed it all. Shield comes out on the point. Thiel trying to contest and keep up with WASD Sports on the point.
Important they got the turrets down before the shield drop for Thiel. That way they don't have any DPS laying into him. That would have brought him to about 1,500 for sure. But now he's back and he's healthy. He's got his shield back up with Aegis. The cooldown reduced and Mutyustiina falls. It is overtime. 50 Shades of SNEK have taken the advantage finally over WASD Sports. A patiently played chess game coming to fruition with checkmate arriving for 50 Shades.
SunCommander with the law available as well. Has bonkar supporting him on the rock. He's just trying to stay out of trouble right now, but he's getting peaked. Nice peel there comes from Thiel, but Mutyustiina sneaks the kill home with a Fire Spit. Creatives finds bonkar caught out as well. Now Thiel's going to be on the back foot here. Nice little moonwalk charge to get himself back towards the payload. Dragon Punch is available if they want to keep this up, but with 2 members already sent home from 50 Shades of SNEK, Mutyustiina just going to chill out for the time being.
Absolutely wanted to just be careful about this defense. You don't want to give up too much room, but you want to make sure they don't get past this crucial areas. One being right outside the payload, and one being right under the archway before they get into the main room. Jaguar Falls, typical of being a shorter, ranged map, so snowballs can happen, but right now Laizy goes down, and that's all good news for the WSD's defense.
He did find the kill onto Spunkki though, so 4-on-4 right now. WASD clashing with 50 Shades of SNEK. A lot's going to be decided by this point fight. Breaking the base is one of the toughest things to do given any map there. Cursed Arm did come out, but no kills were found off the back of it, so big ultimate whip there. Salvo primed and ready. Looking for SunCommander action. Mutyustiina definitely smelled that one out, put him so low here. Has the Fire Spit available. He's just going to go to that one, pins him to the wall with it as well. Dragon Punch has a decent angle, but all of 50 Shades of SNEK know he is there and now have to play around it.
Beautiful play, though, by 50 Shades. They take advantage of Mutyustiina running away from the Dragon's Den to go and hunt down Lex. And the Lawman, he does his job of drawing out the criminals and then putting them on the back foot here. SunCommander already back in play, and there's bonkar with the Hexafire coming through. Unbelievable. Gonna be unbelievable if he survives this one. He certainly didn't. So it didn't keep to the namesake there, but 50 Shades of SNEK get 2 free ones.
Probably the biggest turning point in that round was Mutyustiina coming back into that fight, dropping the kill onto Laizy. He was extremely low as well. Mutyustiina probably would have died in that engagement regardless, but letting Laizy stay alive and continue to have an impact in that fight is definitely a big momentum swing back in favor of 50 Shades of SNEK, who now have their level 2. I mean, bonkers almost at that level 3 mark. He is just under 300 credits off of Cauterize 3. He is by far and away highest net value for his team there. Maybe Lex competing with that a little bit, though. That guy keeps up in the credit department very easily. Only 1 record, too, so only 1 level 2 offensive item was able to be purchased by WASD Sports. Mutyustiina was just barely off. He actually stayed in spawn to get the couple of credits to get that record, too. Now coming to the battlefield late. Salvo primed, ready. Come out and dump it into Thiel's shield. Looks like it's going to pay off as the shield was shredded immediately after that salvo.
Mutyustiina wants to make sure that he can make his mark on this point fight. Played it very, very cautiously. All the mechanical skill in the world won't change their position.
Surprise.
And there it is. Laizy going to try and knock him out of the air. Oh, CC immune, but Laizy, he gets out too fast and takes care of the dragon. Great heads-up play there by Mutyustiina, but it just didn't leave him with enough options to fight back.
CC just not far enough away. There's the immortal from Thiel. He's saying, boys, get in here.
Nice
I
shot.
need your help. 2 kills come through for 50 Shades of SNEK. Thiel stays alive, gets another shield up. Objective captured, 50 Shades of SNEK. 3-0 lead, beautifully constructed and executed team fight by those former HRX champions.
WASD are just looking on the back foot yet again. They don't have anything that's been distinguishing them in this match. Despite Mutyustiina being, you know, the free agent we talked about that's come over to their squad to change things up, maybe take them to the next level, he's been relatively quiet. Creatives on the Androxus, who we thought Mutyustiina would be on, been relatively quiet as well. Maybe they just didn't put the right people on the right champions this game.
56 remaining. Dragon Punch still ready to go as Mutyustiina wasn't able to get it off in time before Laizy did destroy him there. That could have been the cool min-max way to punish that play there from Laizy. 2 kills already coming through from WASD Sports. A Dread Serpent as well from Bird, but not really going to be gained much in the way there. Thiel's going to be hooked out. Bird's extremely low in the back line as well, so wasted entirely. Trying to pop that one out to Peel, but it didn't pan out. 4 members sent home by 50 Shades of SNEK.
And again, it's not necessarily a set and done deal. You know, if they're able to defend, they'll get a point, but it just looks like a difficult process right now. Going against the momentum 50 Shades of SNEK have done. This is looking like deja vu. SunCommander takes that right side, but this time, Kamyker comes through, finds a kill. Huge direct shots by Mutyustiina and a fire spit to boot. There's a salvo as well. This man showing off all of Drogo's abilities. I feel like this is an ability reveal. Finally, Creatives finishes him off again, and now they're looking pretty decent on this defense.
Talking everything except the Dragon Punch in that engagement. 6 streak.
Yeah, right.
Still sitting on that one. Ready to go. 50 seconds. Strong defense being held here for WASD, so not backing down despite being down 3-0 in game number 2. This is the point where we see, you know, weaker teams mentally start to tilt a little bit, but WASD definitely not shaking here. They've got Spunkki, you know, strong leader. Definitely not a guy that likes to tilt there. King Bomb coming through. Laizy just trying to get back to the back line to provide some heal. Gonna get a kill for his troubles as well.
It's great because it has the Bomb King. If you go to the back line behind the enemy players, they're gonna run forward or they're gonna stay there. You're either creating space or you're pushing them towards your team. So I love the direction Laizy took with that one. Mutyustiina still hasn't used his ult. They've got Dome Shield as well, and they've also got Ging to be able to provide the healing to all the teammates. She's gonna wait till Androxus is up though.
Wow, Bonkar just putting a lot of headshots into Spunkki, sending Barrick home. Miss Makoa not long for this world as either, as we are heading into overtime.
It's overtime now, and that means everything matters. As long as this continues, it will be less and less of a wiggle opportunity for Burrito, or excuse me, 50 Shades of SNEK to get this perfect. Focusing Lin's Ying, not really, but she might be able to finish off one, but she gets finished off herself. Laizy and Mutyustiina, this will determine so much. Looks like Mutyustiina's in trouble yet again, getting caught behind Nick, and no one to defend.
Just kind of the last one to fall there as well. It just makes it look bad for him. A lot of ultimates left in the tank, too, for 50 Shades of SNEK. You saw the Hexafire combination with the Dread Serpent there, just, you know, shooting fish in a barrel for Bonkar at that point.
Yeah, it was tough, and it was unfortunate for, I think, Mutyustiina, the way that he was playing Drogos in that game. The pacing, I think he predicted for his team, those team fights, went faster because he was always, you're right, he was always alive.
He was always the last
end.
one to get picked.
And that shouldn't really be the case, but he just wasn't there when the big fights were happening to use those Fusillade rockets.
A lot of damage coming through from Spunkki, actually. 61,000 damage on this Barrack. Top on his team by a mile. And it's funny that we were saying, you know, Barrett could be the problem here, hit or miss.
Yeah.
He was actually the most, I would say, probably the highest performing.
Yes.
You know, I think just because of spunkki is actually such an insane Paladins player.
Yeah.
He can make it work. 61,000, almost 62,000 damage on this. Granted, he had a lot of tanks to shoot a lot of the time, a lot of pressure in the back line for creatives and Mutyustiina. But I mean, we were talking about how Mutyustiina was the last one to die in a lot of those engagements. He should be putting out, you know, just you would think the most damage if he's the last one to die every time. He's
always
the longest alive.
Well, we saw the cam, and to me it was more of a.
If he's being chased around the whole time, though, you can't be too effective during that.
Yeah, no, I think it was maybe a part of the choice. Combustible may have served him a little bit better there than the Fusillade. Wasn't a lot of opportunities to just direct impact people with those shots the way Burrito were kind of ducking and diving.
He's an aim guy,
using
man.
the Fernando shield.
He's got to lean on that.
But you gotta say that, man, I wish that they would have had, you know, maybe him on Androxus be a little bit more aggressive. Turn the tide of the fight in those 1v1s. Up next, though, this is something that's notable. Bright Marsh, the brand new map in Paladins, that's where they're going to be playing next. And this is the second week in a row we've seen 50 Shades of SNEK play on this map.
Absolutely. It's interesting. Last week it looked really difficult to convert on. Either way it was going, you know, the points were actually going both ways. WASD was capturing them, 50 Shades of SNEK was capturing them, but it was consistent that no one was pushing them at all. And that's kind of the theme, right? When we talk to our level designers, we say, you know, teams like when there's more than one spot to hold, when there's a lot of spots to hold throughout a payload push, and you know that's kind of reflected here in Bright Marsh. There was a lot of nooks and crannies. This is a very boots to the ground type of map where there's a lot of places to hold and shoot from and pressure and defend. It's very tough to push on this map.
And you know, it's also important to remember when we had Hi-Rez Tunini, we had Jordan on here for the Patch Note show. He was talking about the types of champions he knows excel. You know, maybe this is just a fact of the meta right now, not really shifting towards this map when it needs to. There may need to be a whole different type of champion selection. The Victors, the Lins, he was saying he was playing a lot of Androxus on this map particularly. That really do excel here in these tight corridors.
Still liking the Barrack SNEK actually taking it away this time as well as the Androxus. So WASD, I don't know if Drogos is super great on this map just due to the nature, the roominess of the point fight. You know, he can dump fire spits in there, but it's not from a great angle. It is boots on the ground, so people can just kind of come up and abuse him. He can't get to a safe spot and just fire down on the fight.
It's kind of frozen guardy, right? You
sure,
know, where
he
can't really be as impactful as some of the open air maps where he can retreat and get into the fight very quickly. Fernando here, notably no Willow still taken, although the newest champion in the realm is available to be picked. People are saying, and some of the pros out of their own mouths have said, Drogos kind of still does a better job than what Willow does, we think, right now.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think it's more confirmable, right? You look at the Seedling, kind of the same sort of concept as a fire spit, but twice the cooldown.
Yep.
Not as confirmable. Frankly, it's not going to land on a lot of these guys. It's almost like a grumpy bomb in terms of the amount of time it actually takes to detonate. If you get hit by it, you made a mistake. There's not the perfectly placed Seedling that's just too good to get away from. Unless you CC somebody, hook them on top of it, it's got to be something like that. Whereas Fire Spit, that's hitting you. That's like, Laizy's going to throw that out and he's going to detonate it. And it's going to hit you because he placed it right. It's quick enough. It's confirmable enough.
Yep. And so we'll see if that continues to be the case or if that changes. But regardless, we will see something new. The new map here, Bright Marsh in Paladins. It will be 50 Shades of SNEK, starting things off with Bird, Ripen Gourd, Maldamba, Architectonics, Bonkar on his Barrack, and Laizy going with Fusillade Drogos. Thiel on the Pluck Makoa, Hunter's Daughter, nice title, and SunCommander with the Darkstalker Androxus.
Unbelievable. We'll be taking Aegis Fernando to the round with WASD Esports. Accelerant for creatives, Bomb King Kamyker yet to select his legendary. It looks like it will be Aerial Assault. Death Hastens for Mutyustiina's Lex. spunkki rounding things out, this time on Lifelike Ying.
Interested to see how Mutyustiina plays now that he's on a hit scan and he's on a little bit more of a dueler, right? This is what he wants. This right side, very important in Bright Marsh to try and win these rooms so you can kind of have the open line of sight towards the point, but also be able to duck in safely. A missed salvo by Laizy is not going to put him in a good spot, and Kamyker will take the first kill onto Thiel.
No hook's gonna be landing there. Another one goes down. Laizy finds him. Creatives boxing out here with SunCommander. SunCommander trying to win this one, but that's a little bit outside of Androxus' ideal range. He's gonna be forced to back up, and he's getting collapsed on right now, but so many corridors on Bright Marsh. He's able to stay safe, stay alive.
And they love taking that right side. And again, Laizy, if that salvo would have connected, would that have put one of their members down to where they'd had to be on a defensive mode instead of this full force push? I love the aggressiveness. Great dimensional link as well. And he's not going to find the kill. spunkki will die now. And it seems like this is up to SunCommander to stay alive. What a reversal. What another step. And he's back at full health, ready to fight.
For 93% of WASD, so they are very close to coming away with the first payload here. SunCommander with a great angle though on one of these tanks. Reversal again coming out over the top, not going to land. Has one dash to try and get up on the high ground. Not enough range there. Caught out. Without a whole lot of nether step charges to spare. Mutyustiina finds SunCommander in the backline. Creatives finds bonkar. Overtime has been started on the point.
And that's the duel they need to win. And with Bomb King on their side, WASD are going to have more of an advantage in this overtime. And so they're going to take the first point over 50 Shades of SNEK on the Bright Marsh. But this isn't something that we're not used to seeing. In fact, this is the way it went last time around.
2 minutes remain here for this payload push. Off to the races already. It's going to be very important to keep momentum high. They're doing just that. 2 picks already found here. Still continuing to get aggressive here in the backline. bonkar poked extremely low. Bird off the high ground. There's no relief here. They can't get back up onto the shelf and spawn. Creatives has a great angle here. Finds Bird. Fernando falling lower and lower here. But so far, so good from WASD.
That was a king bomb opportunity if I ever saw one. You have Barrick, who is so low, and you take it so long to kill him. You've allowed everyone to get back into this fight. They must feel so confident about this push through their team comms that they just didn't feel they needed to confirm those kills. But I thought I would have gotten a lot of value out of that one. Seems like Creative's just looking to hold on to
Keeping it in their back pocket to punch this one through, as soon SNEK is going to be forced to come down off of the shelf to contest the payload. It looks like it's not going to be too much more time. Hooked out of the air. Nice stuff from Thiel. Will take Creatives down with him. Is Unbelievable finds the kill onto him, but with a minute 20 remain and mere inches left to go.
Now that is going to push them back just a little bit, but Mutyustiina, if he can take Laizy, Kamyker is going to be able to do it here. SunCommander's got too much work to do by himself. And that will mean that Mutyustiina switching off the Drogos onto a little bit more of a hit scan has been more impactful in this game in my eyes for his team, winning some of these duels and putting SunCommander on his heels.
And just barely inches away from conversion there. The WASD just run out of gas, and now they give up Kamyker as well. It's going to take that much longer to get this push up and rolling again, and this is tough to push into. The ideal situation here is what they had going for them. They kept up so much momentum. Picks continued to flow, and they weren't losing anyone. And then right at the end, they started giving up a little bit more than they were taking, and now 50 Shades of SNEK completely stabilized here. And Bright Marsh has a very good sort of spawn final area to hold if you're defending, right?
Yeah.
You're just shooting down into a barrel-like, shape, just on all these attackers.
And do you think you'd ever really see, I mean, in my eyes, Unbelievable doing a really good job zoning out, but I feel like the pressure that, Thiel, when he's playing that Fernando, he's so far up there that he just opens things up. Right now, everyone is behind Unbelievable, but he hasn't been able to really take that space now, and now everyone is being collapsed on. SunCommander's just having free reign in the back line.
Absolutely, and that's what was really cool about that last defense there from 50 Shades of SNEK. As they are on the back foot, they are slowly chipping away at people, and then before WASD know it, they're all, under 30% health.
Yep.
SunCommander punches both those kills home and just takes the defense's legs out from under it. So tying things up 1-1 there with a strong defense there. 50 Shades of SNEK barely stabilizing, getting a lot of frags though along the way. So they are going to be able to get those level 2 offensive items. Their Cauterizes and Wreckers all heading the level 2 mark. For Laizy, Sun, and bonkar.
They had such a successful push till about 80%. That's where, I think they'll look back at the tape and say, maybe we should have king bombed there. I mean, we had a minute and a half, 2 minutes to actually get that ultimate back by the time it really mattered for us at this point fight. And we haven't used our king bomb at all. So it's really been a resource they've built up after playing well and not been able to utilize. But right now, bonkar, he's under pressure again, and Kamyker is just putting so much damage in the backline and staying safe that he's given them a very big opportunity here to take the lead.
Dredge Anchor comes out. Dragon Punch still being sit on 2 ultimates to 5. 50 Shades of SNEK have the ultimate advantage in this team fight, winding it up, coming down, looking for a tank, looking for anyone, looking for just his life at this point. Laizy quickly had that one turned on his head, not going to be able to land that one, but That's what we're used to from Laizy.
You know, he realized he had made a wrong turn, decided this wasn't the area of town he should really be in at this hour.
You don't want to come to this part of Bright Marsh, boy.
And decided to head home to the lighter side of the valley. Great hook there by Thiel. He's going to pull the Goblin of Mech, but again, he realizes that DPS is a little too much for him until the Ancient Rage comes out.
Did you ever think you would say pulling a ruckus out of the sky here as the King Bomb is wound up, finds under the Dome Shield? Bonkar will actually go. Creatives will trade his life for it. 50 Shades of SNEK, 99% on the point, but WASD are slowly but surely trying to take this team fight win. Thiel finds a double kill. Laizy punches one home as well, and just like that, the overtime expires, and 50 Shades of SNEK come away with the payload.
That's the experience coming together. That's the confidence that this team has, being able to take it to 99% and be able to finish things off with WASD Sports having their moments of success and not faltering one bit. 50 Shades of SNEK, despite having some ups and downs against D69, have still shown that they are master class when it comes to the Paladins competitive scene in general.
2 minutes remain here on this payload push. SunCommander eating a big chunk of his HP, just dashing just to look like he's healing up at this point. Unbelievable, trying to hold this doorway while his teammates give him supporting fire, but it's hooked out up and over the wall to the other side of the border. Thiel brings Unbelievable up and over and takes him down. 1 minute and 48 remain. 50 SNEK trying to get through here. A lot of low HP targets into the back line. Thiel's gonna hook one, serve it up to nobody. It's just muscle memory at this point.
And he needs that memory to serve him well. He's going to continue to push this payload. I don't know if they'll waste an opportunity to finish off one of these tanks. It seems like they're not taking any chances here. They want to burn this Fernando down as much as possible, not giving him a chance. And SunCommander on an 11 streak, playing lights out like a freshly caramelized creme brulee. Beautiful.
Wow. Just sit on that reference for a minute. I love it.
He's playing tasty, man.
Delicious.
He is playing
delicious ref.
Delicious.
Mutyustiina here, looking for that cauterized 3. Sitting at 878 credits. We've seen him sit and spawn for some amount of credits, but that was just for 2 in the previous game. I don't know if he's going to sit. That's going to take a full 12 seconds just to earn that while sitting in spawn. I don't think we'll see him sit, try and grab that caught 3, whereas everyone from 50 Shades of SNEK is starting to hit that mark. Bonkar, SunCommander already at the level 3 mark. Laizy, Wrecker 3 with a bunch of credits to spare. Ultimates looking strong for them as well, sitting on a cursed arm, as well as the Dragon Punch. WASD have nada.
And this is the issue here. SunCommander, he's been the one who's not been stopped at all. We mentioned his play similar to that of a caramelized dessert, but will he continue to bring some of the spice now? He's been maybe sweet here, but look at this. He's got no mercy whatsoever. He's taken a lot of these point fights a little more slowly, but this time he's got no mercy. And SunCommander leading the charge as a flanker helps 50 Shades of SNEK gain a 42% lead.
A lot of kills, still just staggering through here for 50 Shades of SNEK. It's looking like they might actually take this game, given how strong this fight has already gone for them. One more shot is going to take down Mutyustiina. There's the hook to pull him back in, send him to an early grave. Laizy was firing down on that ruckus the entire time. A cursed arm comes out, barely even needs it. Going to cancel it out, actually. It doesn't even need the rest of the shots. Double kill comes through for Sun. Dome Shield and a dance will be the response from Bonkar.
My goodness. You know, words sometimes cannot describe the delectable performances we get to see here in Paladins. And SunCommander, delicious. You know, if I was at a restaurant, I might call the flavor of SunCommander victorious right now. I might describe that to you, and you would buy it. Because if you saw the way he played, this man is showing up big time.
You are what you eat.
And that's what it is, man. He must be eating something right. He's got
Wheaties.
He's got, that's what I was going to say.
65
Marketed
damage. Product placement.
Exactly.
I wonder what, can Androxus eat? Does he have a mouth?
I feel like he's got to eat, man. He's doing too much work.
Pop that mask off. I wonder what's under that mask. Maybe someday we'll get to see that. We'll get to know. We'll get to understand a little bit more about the background here. Creatives, 59,000 damage. Trying to keep up. 39,000 damage from Mutyustiina on the Lex. I think it's probably the story here. Really, frankly, underperforming. Barely beating out Fernando. Losing out to Ruckus's damage. Just under a lot of heat from that last game there. SunCommander absolutely on point, as well as Laizy, putting a lot of pressure on him.
Well, you know, not every set that we watch here is as one-sided as these have been. There was a lot of moments where, you know, both teams, Burrito and WSD, had opportunities to change the pace of the game or maybe take that final leap into a victory that they just weren't able to reach. But D69 and 50 Shades of SNEK have always battled intensely against one another, and I expect nothing different from the finals of this week.
That's going to be the veteran matchup. They're just so far. It feels like everyone's just trying to catch up to them in this European scene. And North America, frankly, trying to play catch up, even down to the third, the fourth seeds of Europe. So the region as a whole, a little bit behind what these two juggernauts in Europe have been doing for so long. They've been so dominant, playing together with very consistent rosters as paid dividends.
Well, SunCommander, he performed victoriously in the last round for 50 Shades of SNEK, who actually ended up losing against D69 3-0 last weekend. Will things be any different after this? Find out in just a second.